Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gabbing with Gabby. And we are in the middle of our Young Lions Jazz Conservatory series. And today I have Charlie Arbelaez. Hi, Charlie. Thanks for being on the show.
For sure. Thank you, Gabby. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
excited.
Me too. I can't wait to hear your story. Charlie is one of the instructors at the Young Lions Jazz Conservatory, and we are having a fundraiser on August 1st at Bread and Salt. That's down in South San Diego between 12 and 4. You can go online and order your tickets, but buy tickets online. I'll put that in the description below. It's something you don't want to miss. We are having lots of amazing musical guests, including Charlie and Gilbert and Bob and Rob, all these interviews that you're going to see on the channel in the coming weeks. So, Charlie, like I said, I don't know much of your story. I know what an amazing musician you are because I've seen you perform plenty of times. I also know what a great instructor you are because I've seen your group play several times at recitals as well. So, let's start with how you got into the music. How did music enter your life?
Gosh, I guess I was in sixth grade,
Mhm.
and that was when I lived in Florida. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, so I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but then we moved to South Florida when I was
That's what all New Yorkers do.
yes,
That's what I
exactly,
did.
but not when they're 4 years old. More like when
No, that's true.
later, much later. But anyway, so yeah, I was living in like by Fort Lauderdale, and I had just started middle school, and yeah, I joined the band, and really I wanted to play drums, but the band director told me that oh, we already have too many drummers. So I'm like, okay, and so he told me to play trumpet, and I was like, okay, very cool. So nothing. I just went home that weekend, and I told my dad, oh, necesito una trompeta para la escuela. Okay, cool. So
I
yeah,
understood what you said.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
understand Italian. I told you I didn't speak Italian, but I understand Italian, which helps me understand Spanish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That really works. Right. Um, and so I don't know. My dad just came back home with a saxophone. It kind of
Oops.
chose me. Like as much as I tried to go a different route, I ended up with a saxophone, and I just started taking that to school and learning. And I really wasn't that into it, but I think naturally I had more of an aptitude to pick up the mathematical parts of playing music. Like note durations and playing in tune, stuff like that. The mathematics portion of making music, I think came to me faster. I was like an accelerated gifted classes for math. I finished high school math when I was in eighth grade. So
Wow.
I think that I just had a natural aptitude to just, kind of gravitate towards grasping the concepts a little faster, at least and playing in a symphony, in a symphonic band setting and marching music and stuff like that. And then I didn't get introduced to jazz until like the very following year. I wasn't in seventh grade. It was like halfway through sixth grade. And I started playing in the jazz band, but it really wasn't open for sixth graders. It was more for seventh and eighth graders.
Hmm.
But I went anyway, and the band director let me go. And it was really hard because the music was more, advanced, and the other kids were older. And so I almost quit. I just told my band director, I was like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna come back next year, and hopefully I'll be ready. And he didn't let me. His name, rest in peace, was Mr. DeZoba.
All
And
right.
so he didn't let me quit. And I learned all the music, from going to rehearsals, and then eventually, I just kind of started learning a little bit more about Duke Ellington, um, Count Basie, and like bands like that, Glenn Miller, big bands. Eventually, I made some friends in high school that I'm still very, very close friends with today. We maintain
Wow.
in contact very often. But we were in the band, marching band, and the jazz band at school and high school, and eventually, yeah, we were kind of I would say healthy competitive, more like pushing each other to see like, oh, I can play this now. Oh yeah, well, I can play that. All right, great. Well, now I'm going to go home and learn that, and then tomorrow I'm going to come back and we're going to play. Okay, so we started taking lessons, my first saxophone teacher. His name is Ed Mena, and he's on a few records like with Maynard Ferguson, and he's recorded, like with Frank Sinatra, and just
Wow.
he's one of the main saxophone players in South Florida. I think recently he moved to Tennessee. He's definitely in the Blues Hall of Fame in Florida. So he's great. He's amazing. Like I love Ed Mena. And I didn't know at the time to value the things he was teaching me. I did like he taught me just very specific even if I can even say alto saxophone culture, not just saxophone or music, but alto saxophone, like specifically. And learning how to play, how to operate from that. Because I don't think I grasped jazz too quickly or too well, as far as like learning forms and learning tunes and learning changes and being able to improvise, and speak that language. But he taught me, about sound and how to make a good sound, how to practice, fundamentals of practicing, finger studies and tonal studies. And that really amped up my progress, on being able to function, with the way that I was doing music while in high school. And then, eventually I just got drawn to it more and more. And so that was at the end of, was that at the end of 10th grade or so? I don't exactly remember. It was like 11th grade anyway, but yeah, I took lessons, and then I ended up, getting a full ride to Florida International University when I went to college, and then the world really opened up a lot for me, because, like I said, I was just into high school, and then I was into church. And so, suddenly now I'm in college, on my own for the first time. And I'm meeting all these people, all these wonderful musicians, incredible musicians that I'm still following to this day. They're doing amazing things. Yeah. So eventually, anyway, fast forward, I quit. And I had always been brought up, my culture, I'm Colombiano. My dad's very, just very, like strong in the mind, strong in the heart, with that cultural
That
point.
conviction.
Yeah. I just I make a decision, and then I do it, I follow through. Like that's not to say anything's anything less, but that's just how I identify. I don't know, very, very just just man. We say man, okay. But okay, so very much like that. And so I was attracted to action. And I lived through 9/11, which I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. I was in 8th grade at the time, and that made a big impact on me. So eventually I became a firefighter.
What?
Yes. I was a firefighter, like EMT paramedic, for the
Oh my goodness.
city.
See, this is why I'm excited to talk to you. All new to me, guys. I'm learning it new with you guys. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I became a firefighter, and I really liked it a lot. I was doing that for almost 2 years.
In South Florida?
Yeah, which is, like instant sauna, and once you put on all the turnout gear
Exactly.
in that humid heat. I just kind of woke up one day and was just like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? Like what's going on? I think I was 21 or 22. I was 22 at the time, and I was just like, what am I doing? What am I supposed, like, I don't get it. And just on a whim, now actually, to digress, back in 11th grade, I remember after 11th grade, so in the summer before high school, I auditioned for the Marine Corps, and I made the band. So
Nice.
So I was going to be going to New Orleans. I was signed a contract. I had a bonus. The recruiter was very happy because he gets a lot of bonus points for signing on, recruits, and then being a musician, that's like extra points. So they treated me very well. They took me out to lunch. They trained me, as a just a young kid that was gonna go be a Marine. And okay, but but a couple things happened. The first big thing, well, I don't know any order, but one of the big things that happened that summer in July, August of, what was that, 2005, Hurricane Katrina came through and completely rocked New Orleans. So the first thing that was affected was my contract. Like, oh, we're not sending you to New Orleans anymore. It's a disaster and things are, not slated to be happening there. So we don't know what we're going to do with you yet. And my mom didn't like that. And so if you remember at the time in 2005, that was also the height of the Iraq War.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a war going on, and then my duty station gets messed up in New Orleans. So my mom was crying a lot about how, I would get up to go to school in the morning and she would be upset because she was looking at me like I was just going to go off to war and get killed, tomorrow or something like that. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
of course. Yeah, you fear for your kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
So I just, she begged me, she asked me to just, why don't you just, try going to college instead? And that's why I only auditioned to one college, the Florida International University. And I got in with a full scholarship. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to audition to any other schools. I'm done. I'll just go here. So that's why I ended up doing that. But much later, when I was 22, I revisited the Marine Corps option, and this time it stuck. There was a few different people, at that point working at the recruiting station, and then as the musicians in the band that were in charge of making decisions and everything. So I was very well guided. So they already had history of me, and they knew that, oh, he should have been in, but he didn't. But now he's back, and we really want. So they gave me a really good bonus for signing. And then, of course, they were very helpful and very friendly with, the whole process. Just like, look, and then they really recommended, for you, Charlie, you should go to San Diego. I'm like, oh, okay, just be stationed in San Diego. They're like, yeah, you want to go there because, you'll be stationed there and you'll have your schedule will be set. You have to perform every Friday on base for the recruiting, for the graduating recruits. So you have plenty of time to attend college in the area, or, meet musicians and just, hang out, do extra things after your Marine Corps responsibilities are handled. I'm like, okay, great. So sign me up, send me there. But throughout that, I did meet, I did go out to one of Gilbert's jam sessions on a Wednesday night when it was at El Camino. And I was hanging out, but what happened was I was just so new at the Marine Corps, and I had so many responsibilities that I couldn't really participate, in the community in San Diego on the scene and do the Marine Corps well. So I just kind of focused on Marine Corps, but Gilbert saw me. And we met briefly, and I think he remembered me, years later after I had met my dear brother Matt Hall. We met while we were active duty, and he's a trombone player, and he was stationed in Miramar. Anyway, but it was because of Matt, really, and he would drag me out to Gilbert's jam session every Wednesday at the 7 Gram. And then at the time there was Croce's on 5th and F in the Gaslamp. So then Thursdays we would go to Croce's because Gilbert was playing with his Latin group. And then Fridays we would always go to the Westgate. And when I heard Gilbert play, I was like, whoa, that's it. That resonates with me. I want more of that as much as I can. I hear it and I know what this is. So I want more of that. And so it was easy to be there every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, Saturday, wherever he was playing or somebody else. I remember going out to see, like Steph Johnson, Whitney Shea, different players. I think eventually my first gig, I hired Ed Kornhauser and Mac Layton. It's just I remember going through all these things, but not being, that serious about okay, I am a saxophonist. I make music with my life, and that's what I'm doing. And it wasn't until much later, and actually I was going to, I already had a foot in the door to audition for the President's Own. So it's the band that you see in the inauguration. So
Oh,
so
okay.
who did the Star Spangled, was it I forgot, was it Lady Gaga? It was Lady Gaga who did the
Mhm.
Star Spangled Banner,
Mhm.
that which ended up being my favorite version so far
Mhm.
of all time of the Star Spangled Banner.
Mhm.
But the band was that's the president's own,
Okay.
and it's the premier Marine Corps band. You know, who, when they call it the president's own, the president literally can just tell them, all right, well, we need you to play at the White House, and you're there. So it's like
Okay.
his personal band, the president's personal band. Anyway, so I kind of had my foot in the door to be in that band with my, jazz chops alone at the time. I mean, and I could play classical and everything and read and be in a symphonic band. But yeah, I remember going out to dinner one night before, like a week before the audition or something. I was telling Gilbert, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be finished up here in San Diego. This was in 2013. I'm going to be finished up here in San Diego, and I think I'm moving to Washington D.C. I'm going to audition, and we had a nice long conversation. And he kind of told me, he's like, Charlie, I think you would do great if you got out of the military. Like, don't be in the military,
Mhm.
and play and do their program. I think you could do your own program. I think you could be very successful if you get out and you stay here and be a part of this community, and we'll have your back, and there's stuff for you to do here. And I really thought about it. I took that to heart, and so this was my transition from the Marine Corps to the civilian world. Like, what am I going to do? And it was just so clearly obvious that what I really want to do with my life is make music.
Mhm.
Um, and so I started taking it a lot more seriously after I got out of the Marine Corps.
Mhm.
In retrospect, I wish I would have practiced so much more. If I knew then what I know now, I would have just been like, oh, in heaven, just practicing every day, just get paid to practice all the time. But I didn't. My path has brought me to here, to where I am right now. I'm very grateful. I for what it's worth, I make a living playing the alto saxophone. I teach. Now I just finished my master's degree
Wow.
last month. So I just graduated from San Diego State. I teach saxophone at Palomar College. I've been working with the Young Lions Jazz Conservatory for a few years now, and
Mhm.
um, and I'm playing music throughout town, and with teaching and recording and composing and everything and all this stuff. Like, I make it happen. I make it happen as I understand the world now. Well,
Mhm.
as much as I can, how the universe
Mhm.
does things. I've made all of my own decisions to get me to where I'm at. I regret
Mhm.
nothing.
Mhm.
I feel very good. I feel very confident. I feel like I've created my life. You know, I don't live in a mansion, but I don't need one. I'm
Right.
perfectly happy without it. I have my own house. I live in my own house. I have a house that I live in San Diego. Like, wow, that's crazy. And I'm very fortunate to have neighbors that are relatively musical. So I get to practice here whenever I want,
Mhm.
which is all I could ever ask for. My landlord, she's super cool. I'm surrounded by the most wonderful people that are very encouraging, supporting, and I draw from that energy. And ultimately, my biggest realization so far is that I've been put here on this earth. My existence is to serve. I'm here to serve. I'm here to do the best that I can for my community. I love bringing the people together. I love, you know, I think that one of the reasons, I can acknowledge that I'm a good leader is because I'm also a very good follower. Like, I know where, when and where to make these decisions, to support, to be there. And sometimes it's just easy. Um, but there's a lot of things I learned in the Marine Corps that wow, that's probably one of the best things I've ever done with my life is serve in the Marine Corps and learn all these things, learn how to be, my role, and then know the role of my subordinates, but also know the role of those that are put in charge above me,
Mhm.
and then accountability, and then hold everyone accountable for doing their job, you know,
Mhm.
and then just, um, knowing checking like your ego at the door, like how I feel is completely irrelevant to getting a mission accomplished. Like if you're happy about it, if you're sad, whatever. And that's kind of tough because, as musicians, we're very sensitive. So, I remember just 2 days ago, I run a jam session over at Queen Bee's every Tuesday night. And now since 7 Grand opened up, I do a double. So I do the jam session at Queen Bee's, and then I go over to the 7 Grand and play late set till like 1 a.m. Anyway, it was Tuesday at like 2 p.m. and I'm just like dreading it. I'm just like, I don't want to do the jam. I don't want to play till, I don't want to do all this stuff. Like, oh man, I got to see all these people and shake hands and smile and be happy. And everybody's going to want to do this. And, oh, the jam, can I play with this guy? Can I play this song? It's like, oh my goodness. Like, all right, cool. And I just was dreading it. But then as soon as I started playing, even on stage, we're like, all right, what are we playing? I'm like, I don't know. Let me see what and I just started and I played, and then they came in and okay, great. As soon as I started playing, everything changed. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I love to play. Like,
I love doing this. This is why. Yeah, this makes me happy.
Music very much heals, on so many levels.
You like you said, you've been teaching at Young Lions for a few years, and here come these kids. How old are? Let's just talk about this year's ensemble. What is the age range of kids that you're teaching in your ensemble this year?
Was like 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the oldest was 17, 18, graduating high school and going to college. So I had, a large range between 11 and 17, 18.
Based on your experience and your story, how, you kind of went in and out of music. You started a little bit later, but then here come these kids at 11 years old into the classroom, hungry. These kids come in hungry. They come in hungry for jazz, which is not it's not easy to learn jazz. It's unlike any other music out there, right? It's a little bit more complicated, but these kids come in hungry and they are sponges, sucking it all up, ready to learn,
Well, I think it's just like it's just another language. Just how we're talking right now and communicating. We didn't, I tell my students, we didn't practice these words this morning. We didn't practice sounding out the words so that we can use the words later, So it's just kind of like a language, and we work on it. They inspire me. I like to, set my best foot forward when I'm, providing, this kind of service, and in a sense, I feel like sometimes I get to be the person that I needed when I was their age, and I didn't have that person telling me, and it's not even sometimes telling me what to do, but tell me what not to do, like that can be even more valuable. Like, yeah, that's awesome, but don't do it like this. Don't do that. Oh, okay. So, but just don't do that. Doesn't mean, okay, you have to do it a certain way. Just don't do it. Don't play that there. That doesn't sound good there, but you could play something else, and there's infinite possibilities and everything. But having that guidance, is definitely reassuring when you work so hard, and then, someone that you might look up to that really knows what they're doing about it, at least there's levels, and says, yeah, that's good. That makes you feel good. That makes you feel good. Like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to keep going down that path. And so that's very necessary for young students. My mindset is to be is to do. And when you do, you're showing, you're teaching, so when I'm playing, on the stage, with a band, I'm showing others, this is what I do. I'm teaching, how to do. So when I get a lot of students that have come out, to like the jam session, that inspires me. That makes me feel like I have a responsibility. I need to go home and practice and raise the level, every time. So when I come back, we've all grown. Because I know some of these students that's all they're doing. They just keep growing and growing, getting better and better. And then, for me, it's beyond, oh, what level you're at. This guy's good. This guy's not good. This girl, she's all right. This girl can swing. Okay. It's not about what level. It's about the overall growth. The tide rises or raises all boats. The tide raises all boats. And as long as I get to be a part of that, mission accomplished.
Yep. And
mission.
you definitely have accomplished the mission. And just so you guys know, he is a very, very incredible saxophone player. You don't give yourself enough credit. But yes, he's a great performer. Love watching you play. You definitely, when you're on stage, you're something clicks for you because it's amazing to watch you play because you just kind of go to a different place and it's you and your saxophone and it's making beautiful music. And the kids that he works with come out playing beautiful music as well. You can see some of these students at the fundraiser on August 1st. Some of them will be performing along with Charlie and Gilbert and Bob Boss and Rob Thorson, all these guys I'm interviewing for this fundraiser. The fundraiser is for Young Lions Jazz Conservatory. It's how they keep the lights on. It's how they pay the instructors. It's how they rent a space for these kids to come in and get instructions by Charlie and all the other amazing instructors. And then sometimes they have special guest instructors that come in. It's just a fantastic organization, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. I think that we're so incredibly fortunate. Like, it's beyond fortunate and blessing. This is just like, I don't know. I try to live my life in a manner that I'll leave at least 15 to 20% room for miracles.
Mm,
And this is huge. This is huge, um, especially during COVID, like everybody went through their ordeal. But for me, I have, everyone has challenges. We all have
hmm
challenges that we have to face and overcome. But when I'm in the room, the classroom with my students, and you know, oh, okay, I broke up with my girlfriend. Oh, I gotta pay my bill next week. Oh, I gotta get new tires for my car. Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta, meet with this guy. Oh, this guy's mad. Well, all those things, none of it matters. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is making sure that we're communicating and that I'm serving them. And so that in and of itself, that's very healing, for me. It's a healing process, and it's sacred. These, the students, that they're young, and they're there to learn, and they do learn, and they learn fast, and they know when you're just like going through the motions, like, all right, good job, Johnny. All right, back to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, like no, no. Or, for me, the first obstacle that I must overcome with my students is gaining their trust. Like, okay, none of this is personal. I'm here to just serve the music. And so once that concept is grasped by all, then I can really get into the nitty gritty and be like, no, that's not the right articulation. Don't do, no, it's got to be shorter, or it's got to be longer. It's got to be harder, like, no, and it can't drag. It's got to be in time, don't slow down, and then once I'm in the nitty gritty, and the students understand that I'm not picking on them. Like, I just give you the information that I have, that I received, that I think, I evaluate, I make the decision, and this is I guess I'm the doctor. I diagnose and prescribe. And then your job is to go home and do that. And then you come back next week and you do it, right? If you do it, then you did it, and now you can do it. Great. Wonderful.
Right.
We can move on. But when you come back and you didn't do it, and you can't do it still, and it's like, okay, now what do I do? Like everybody else, so yeah, now I'm focused on you because we already talked about this last week. Am I picking on you? No, that's just the energy is stuck there, and I have to
Yeah.
fix it. The water's not flowing, freely here. It's stuck. So it can be frustrating. There's so many challenges, but doing that is so worth it. It's so worth it.
When it all comes together
Oh yeah,
and you
yeah,
hear them
absolutely.
play and you see them on the stage. And some of these kids, I've said this a million times already. Now, this is my third interview with a Young Lions teacher, but you close your eyes and as a person who's not musically inclined, to me, it sounds like it's an accomplished adult playing on there for some of these kids. This is not kids playing Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? Not the and not the Stevie Ray Vaughan version. Okay, I'm talking about
Right,
like
right, right.
elementary school, you know, Mary Had a Little Lamb or Chopsticks. Yeah, these kids are playing incredible music and the teachers do an incredible job. So a big thank you to the teachers and who provide a space for these kids. And this is why we're doing this. This is why we have a fundraiser. We celebrate, you know, it's at the end of the year, it's in the summer, this school session is over. We all come together. It's like we're having a big party for sure, with performances and food and drink, and we're all getting together and we're having a good time, and you get to see some of the kids perform, you get to see the teachers perform, and you know, donate some of your money to continue to support this program, the Young Lions Jazz Conservatory, keeping their doors open, keeping the lights on. Charlie, thank you so much for
Oh,
taking
thank
the
you.
time out of your day and sharing your incredible story with me. It was really, did you see my reaction when you said I was a fireman? What? Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. This is super cool. And Jeep likes it. Jeep's having
Oh,
fun.
look at
He's
Jeep.
Jeep.
He's so
He-
cute.
he's always ready. He's always ready. And you know, I'll practice. I'll be practicing and he'll be right on my shoulder and I'll be playing and he'll be like, no, don't do that. That's terrible. Do it again. Start from the top. That's not right. You know, and I'll be like, and then sometimes he'll get frustrated and I'm playing it. He'll just jump right on the saxophone. Like, no, if you can't play it, let me play it. I'll play it, you know, and
Oh,
he'll
how
just sit there and
funny.
be pressing the buttons and whatever, you know, the keys. And so he's very musically educated since you know, he was born. The very first song that I put on for Jeep is Charles McPherson's version of Be My Love. So
Mm.
I play that over and over, and so you know, it's very fitting because this little bird, I love this little bird so much. He's just so great. Jeep's amazing, and he's my love. You know. And so Charles, you know, Charles is my hero. I'm very grateful that, you know, he for every minute that I get to spend with him. Also just Gilbert, you know, we're just so blessed to have Gilbert Castellanos here in San Diego doing this. You know, the fact that he
Mm.
wants to do this, you know, it's just like, that's crazy, you know, because, you know, he should be on the road. You know, he should be
Mm.
touring all over the world, you know, playing with all these musicians and doing all this stuff, but he wants to be here to do
Mm.
this, you know, and I know in my heart, I know that this is perhaps the most important thing in his life.
I agree.
And that's beyond, you know, miracle, blessings. That's beyond being lucky and fortunate and all that. This is just like, I don't
That's
know,
a life purpose.
to be a part of this is just it's very humbling, and I'm just very grateful to serve. I'm here to serve, and so this is where we're at. You know, to digress, yeah, some of these students are playing so good. I remember, I think Marshall was there at the all ensemble showcase, at the showcase, you know, and he was listening to some of these students, and he turns around and he says, they're not supposed to be that good yet. You know, like, they're not supposed to be that good yet, you know, like, oh, wow, yeah, I
And
know.
they are that
I know.
good.
Yeah. Oh,
They are.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much for being on here. It was really great to sit and chat and get to know you a little bit more.
For sure. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Have a
And
wonderful
thank
day.
you. Thank you, Jeep. And thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you next time on Gabbing with Gabby. Bye.